Hey everybody, this is Mel Taylor from acprimetime.com, tracking the reinvention of Atlantic City. Did you miss it? Come on, you missed it? It was great. A couple days ago, Atlantic City Chambers, the council chambers, we got together, about 100 people, a whole bunch of PR and media people were there. For some reason, they chose me to be a part of this crew. How did I sneak in, Because you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. But I must have said something that gave some people some trust. I combed my hair, put a suit on, and the topic was how to control the Atlantic City narrative. Well, that's the way I looked at it. Because Atlantic City, we know great stuff is going on, but sometimes the media, TV, radio, newspaper, they don't really give us a fair shake, or they spin it one way or another. And there she is. She is the Director of Planning and Development for the City of Atlantic City, Elizabeth Taranek, doing a great job. And once a month, she does these noontime talks, different topics. Last month, all about how crime has been declining 40% over the years. That was the topic last month. And this month's noontime talk was all about let's make sure we get the proper story, the accurate story about Atlantic City out there. Now, we don't have a communications department or a PR department, but maybe we got to tap into these new citizen journalists. We got to get, use this thing called the interweb, which might be gaining some traction, huh? So great job, and it was great to be a part of a crew of a bunch of people. Over 100 people were there, and there's the actual flyer. Noontime Talks with the Atlantic City Planning Department. Atlantic City and the media telling our own story. How about that? And Pinky! Now, not just the Pinky bobblehead was there. We're talking about the real Pinkster.
Here's Pinky.
Thank you, and good afternoon, and welcome.
Yeah, Pinky was there in the front row. Pinky and I think Pinky's about 1 inch taller than I. I warned him, don't heckle me. You're in the front row. Don't be hissing, Pinks. But Pinky was one of the speakers as well. He's quite the guy. Look at him. He's wearing a nice sweater. He's given a nice warm embrace to Elizabeth. Of course, Pinky never really, gives me a hug like that. He looks down and he tries to shy away when he sees me coming, but nonetheless, it was great to see Pinky there. And this is the maniac that Pinky calls Dapper, and luckily I got the presentation done before security escorted me out of the building. The jitney guy was there. This guy has a successful jitney operation, but he also is a broadcaster. He's also a publisher. What do you mean by that? He doesn't have a printing press. He doesn't have a radio license or a TV, a license or a transmitter. Now this guy's using the internet. He's using Twitter and Facebook to get his point of view out. So the jitney guy was there, saying a few words to the audience, because this is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of bad media, the inaccurate stuff. So some guy from the New York Daily News comes to Atlantic City for 5 days, and they're looking for photographs, and this is the photograph he decided to shoot and to publish. Keep in mind, the New York Daily News, all they want to do is beat up on AC because they want gambling to come to North Jersey. Is this all about Atlantic City? Some media just keeps on pounding this. This is truly not news. This is the kind of stuff just to sell a paper, to get ratings, but it has nothing to do with the narrative of the all-new Atlantic City. And some may say, we need another TV station. Like the end of the world because WMGM TV 40 is off the air. TV might be changing, but video is stronger than ever before. We don't need to watch a TV, but we love watching video on demand. Sometimes on our computer screen, sometimes on our smartphone, our Android device, maybe our iPhone. You see Dan Skelton back there? He's an active guy. He's a storyteller, right? Michelle Dawn Mooney right there in the middle, in the red. Michelle Dawn Mooney. You got to look at it this way. You got to look at it this way. A blessing in disguise, So she no longer is the anchor of WMGM TV News, but she is so thrilled that her new career is going to take her above and beyond. That's right. She's opening up for Phil Vassar on Saturday, May 16th at Trump Taj Mahal. Michelle Dawn Mooney. Pinky, What do you think about that?
Good afternoon and welcome.
Okay, Pink, thanks. Now, these are the new voices of Atlantic City. Okay? Not sure who that guy is in the middle with the hat. He seems to be some guy, kind of a vagrant that always seems to sneak into the shots, always a photo bomb. But that Chronic guy is pretty cool, and that Whitney lady is awesome, because this kind of stuff, newspapers, it's changing. Papers aren't going away. Newspapers are not going away. Neither is television nor radio, but it's changing. They are no longer the dominant media. Stuff like Atlantic City Prime Time and Go Jane News, they are becoming the voices of a community. They don't just reach the footprint of the Atlantic City region, but they also, their greatest strength, quite frankly, is to reach out to our target markets of Philadelphia, Baltimore, and New York. Those are the markets that bring in people, consumers, to consume the all-new Atlantic City, the hub, the entertainment capital of New Jersey. So how can Atlantic City reduce the negative and inaccurate news coverage? How can we increase the positive and accurate news coverage of Atlantic City? Well, how about this? Put this in your pipe and smoke it. Why don't we focus on AC-friendly media first? Talk to and provide the scoops and provide the information to media that's at least neutral or friendly to what you're trying to accomplish. If you're Hillary Clinton and you want a great interview saying that you should be the next president of the United States, would you go to Fox News? Would you talk with Sean Hannity? Probably not. You'd go to the New York Times. You'd go to MSNBC, right? So, why would we talk to and provide information to those who might look for an angle that may not exactly be appropriate? We do not need to rely on traditional media anymore. It's still important, but you should never think that you must go to traditional media first. They're just a part of the mix, an important part of the mix, but no longer the only player to get the word out about your product, your service, your efforts, or your news-worthy scoop, okay? Why cater to media looking for bad news? Why take that risk? The internet allows you to be a broadcaster. The internet allows you to be a publisher, okay? No, you don't have to think about calling local TV, radio, and newspaper right away for coverage. You can use them, but there's so many other outlets, so many other channels to get the word out, okay? Why cater to media looking to sell papers, increase ratings? Use these platforms, but do not think that they are the arbiters of news and information, that they're the only ones, that you must go there first. That is no longer the case. They were dominant at one time. Now they're just a part of the media mix. Did local media cover the Atlantic City Half Marathon this past weekend very well? Any video? Any pictures? Any stories? I didn't even know what was going on. How much news coverage is being devoted to this new retail outlet being built right now? The structure? I think there's something like 12 retail outlets that will be right here, adjacent to, kind of notched into this area next to Boardwalk Hall on the boardwalk. If somebody hasn't been to Atlantic City in 5 years, you show them this picture, they'll say, what happened? That looks spectacular. It is spectacular. Look at all these facades, these storefronts. This is all CRDA investment. We know that more CRDA money is coming back, being targeted towards the boardwalk, the city itself, the rejuvenation of Atlantic City. We know there's stuff from the past that some folks weren't too thrilled about where some of these dollars went. But you take a walk on the boardwalk today, you would be amazed. The tram car, these guys are happy. They are thrilled to be running these brand new electrical vehicles. Atlantic City is safer. 40% reduction in crime. Did that story truly get out into the mass media? No, it's not sexy. Nobody wants to hear about crime reduction in Atlantic City. They want to hear about stuff that any big city, any city has. But for some reason, when you attach some type of crime with Atlantic City, it's just, you can blow it up out of proportion. Atlantic City has dramatically decreased its crime rate, all because of these great efforts by the Atlantic City Police Department. Atlantic City has to tap into the Atlantic City-friendly media first. You don't ignore any other media, but make sure you know who the people are that you want to give the news and information to first. You want to seed the media. You want to seed the news ecosystem first with this stuff before it's spun, before it's edited, before it's tweaked to that particular media's preference, okay? You want to seed your web, seed the internet, because that's where people get their information. News reporters, both locally as well as regionally, and of course internationally as well, with professional and pro Atlantic City content. Get the news out there to the online journalists. They're the ones that are most likely to reach and influence our target markets. The primary market, of course, being Philadelphia, and of course, New York and Baltimore are also secondary markets of great importance to Atlantic City. When you do this, when you focus on the AC-friendly media first, it slows the spread of potential negative spin. You got to provide an alternative viewpoint to the old media. You never know how they're going to cover it. Let them cover it, but at least there's alternative viewpoints out there. This is what we suggest you do. So down below here, we see public safety, all the different departments and committees that are probably a part of most municipalities. But here in Atlantic City, groups and organizations, CRDA, the council, city council, tourism district, the Meet AC people. So imagine all these different groups that would love to get coverage. They would love to have a PR person to talk about what they're up to share their successes, to share their challenges and how they are overcoming those challenges. Imagine the city department or the street departments. Wouldn't they love coverage almost every day of how they're doing their repaving Pacific Avenue, and they're going to work their way up to Arctic, and for the most part, they're going to get a lot of the main streets out of the way in 2015? Who's covering that? Who's giving them props? Not many people. What they do is they want to get all their information, and they just type up a few sentences. They tap out a couple of facts, some bullet points, some photographs, some videos, and they put it into what I call a news and information bucket, or you can call it an online staging area or an internal aggregator, and it all just gets uploaded. It's almost like uploading to Facebook, but it goes into this queue, into this bucket, and it's a private bucket, so it's password protected, and this bucket is sort of like all the different press releases from all the different departments, right? And the mayor can look at it, he can review it, keep an eye on things, and see what's going on. There is no central repository or hub for all this great information. Some of the information will be tough. Some of the stuff that you're talking about, if you're one of these departments, is maybe you are providing some feedback on some of the negative press that's out there, and you want to have a response. So you put that into the bucket. The mayor can check it out. The mayor's office can check it out. And the flow of news should always go this way. Once that bucket is filled with all that information, it's always being filled and updated. Somebody, at this point in time, I'm taking a wild guess that somebody within the planning and development department is sort of like a curator or an editor. And once they take a look at all this stuff, they decide what stuff needs to be prioritized or stuff that you might want to give some extra oomph to, right? And you push it out to the AC friendly or the media that's out there that's neutral and is going to give it a fair shake. And it's going to give them, quite frankly, a head start on getting this scoop, this news information, this breaking news out to the widest audience, much of it being online, and a lot of it being in Philadelphia, New York, and Baltimore, okay? And then it gets out to traditional media as well. As you can see, traditional media is still really important, but it is no longer the most important part of getting the word out about the all-new Atlantic City. We have to influence Atlantic City's narrative. We have to influence Atlantic City's story. And the internet allows us to do that. Pictures, video, text. Sometimes we use a blog or a website. Sometimes we use Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or Tumblr. Doesn't matter. We no longer have to use traditional media. They're still important, but they are no longer the end-all, or they are no longer the arbiter, the judge, and the jury of what gets promoted and what gets ignored. There is no communications or PR department in Atlantic City. But with the internet, we can do that ourselves, right? It's like an internal online news bucket. We fill it up internally so the departments get that information, their stuff that they wished got covered more often. They post it and they upload it. It's as easy as uploading like to a Facebook page, the same simple process. There's success stories, pictures, and video. All those posts and all that information that the departments pump into this online news bucket is placed into queue for a review, a quick review, and then it's pushed out. So the Department of Planning and Development, or somebody who plays the role of an editor in a way, they review it real quick. They might edit here and there. They might prioritize it, and then they push it out to all of those media players, okay? We want to seed the internet or the media ecosystem with all this information using tools like RSS, Real Simple Syndication. That's just some technology that allows it to travel over the web real fast. Make sure that Google News Alerts picks up on it. The Twitter folks and the Twitter platform can get picked up, and that Twitter picks up on all this AC News stuff. The blogs will pick up on it. Facebook, and then that people in Philly media, New York, and Baltimore, they're using all these tools: Google News Alerts and RSS, Twitter, blogs, and Facebook to find these breaking news stories. They'll get it. International media, investors. They're using these tools to identify what the hot news is out of Atlantic City, the investment community, and of course, assorted haters that are just looking for bad news, right? Why make it so easy to find the bad news? Okay, the bad news is going to be out there, but why don't we start putting some positive news out there as well? Not fluffy stories, not BS stories, but the good stories. Like, somebody might take a look at this down at the inlet area and say, oh, it's desolate, it's horrible, it's just it's the remnant, it's the ramifications of 30 years of casino. Well, quite frankly, I look at it as a beautiful, massive plot of land ready for development. Now, it's sad to know that a lot of people lost their homes, but now we have to move forward and realize these plots of land right here overlooking the ocean, and right there in the corner where the inlet is, with the boardwalk being rebuilt, this is a palette, a canvas that is spectacular. Seeing this sign up there, I'm not sure if $345 per square feet, I would imagine that's quite a bargain. We see these LED screens being erected. We're talking about a high-tech boardwalk. There's Pinky. Hey, Pink. Did you like my presentation?
Here's Pinky.
Thank you, and good afternoon, and welcome.
I got to ask Pinky where he gets those sweaters. He won't tell me. He's like, he has this fashion sense. He's like a clothes horse. Pinky's like, he's like the longest running radio show, I think, in the world, at least in the U.S., over 50 years. He's like 6'5", and I'm 6'4". It's amazing what this guy is about. And but Pinky is the man. I always tell him that I'm his protege. Of course, he looks at me in disgust when I say that. A lot of great speakers. There you go, Nick Palmisano. He's from 11th Floor Media. Great branding and creative company here in Atlantic City. Look at that. In front of Tropicana, installing this super high-end digital facade with speakers. Take a look at that crowd in front of Margaritaville, down there right next to Steel Pier. It's beautiful, it's colorful. Anybody that hasn't been to Atlantic City in 5 years, they would not believe what they are looking at. I did not like coming to Atlantic City 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'd still come up on the boardwalk, but I'd say, yeesh, I got to get out of here. I don't know. It's a little uncomfortable. It is dramatically different. The bungalow, take a look at this outdoor seating. It's gorgeous. Notice how every single store has a whole fresh new facade. It's slick, it's clean, it's safe. No more panhandling. Ambassadors everywhere being incredibly helpful. The boards are clean. It really is an all-new Atlantic City, but right now, most media seems to be focused on these sexy battles of Revel and Glenn Straub and the and the casinos and Stockton University. Are they in? Are they out? Right? The Boardwalk Light Show. It's kind of fun watching this as they build it out. Take a look at those storefronts. You think people know this is what Atlantic City's boardwalk looks like right now? Redevelopment plans for Bader Field. Gardner's Basin. Just wait. 18 months from now or thereabouts, when the boardwalk, the all-new boardwalk, is rebuilt from the old Revel building or Polo North, is rebuilt all the way up to here, up along the inlet, and then dropping everybody off right here at the aquarium and the Gardner's Basin area. CRDA, seems like they're putting more money back into the city. We like that. Bart Blatstein, the playground, I think something like 6 clubs, music-focused clubs, will be open by the 4th of July. We think there might be a handful open by Memorial Day. I look for outdoor concerts on the beach next to the playground this summer of 2015.